Welcome to BioWorld. Today's topic is transportation in human. In the previous session, we have discussed transportation in plants. As you all know, blood carries carbon dioxide, oxygen, nutrients and all other waste materials in our body. Blood is a fluid connective tissue. This blood contains a liquid medium called plasma. And many cells are suspended in it. Which are the cells? RBC, WBC and platelets. This plasma carries nutrients and waste materials in liquid form or in dissolved form. And RBC contains a special pigment called hemoglobin. This hemoglobin carries oxygen in the form of oxyhemoglobin. Then what is the function of WBC? WBC fights against the infection or the different agents that cause infection in our body. Then next one is platelets. Platelets assist in the process of blood clotting and prevent excess wastage of blood or excess bleeding. We need a pumping organ to pump our blood. Heart is our pumping organ. We also need various blood vessels to carry blood towards the heart and to carry blood away from the heart. Look here, this is the picture of a heart. The section of a heart showing different parts. The outer covering of the heart is called pericardium. Pericardium is a muscular wall. And then there are four chambers, upper atria. This one is right atrium and this is left atrium. And lower ventricles. This one right ventricle. The left side of the heart consists of oxygenated blood. So it is in red color, and right side of the heart consists of deoxygenated blood. So it is in blue color. Overall, we have four chambers in our heart. Then next we will see what is happening in these atria. This is the right atria and this is the left atria. The left atrium receives oxygenated blood from the lungs, and at the same time the right atrium receives blood from different parts of the body. That blood is deoxygenated blood. Once atria receive blood, the blood is pumped into the respective ventricles, and from the ventricles, that is from the right ventricle, deoxygenated blood is pumped into the lungs through pulmonary artery. And likewise, from the left ventricle, oxygenated blood is pumped into the aorta to different parts of the body. Here, the right atrium receives blood from different parts of the body through two veins. Which are these two veins? Here you can see one vein. This is called superior vena cava. Superior vena cava. This superior vena cava collects blood from the anterior parts of our body or the parts above the heart, and here down you can see inferior vena cava. Inferior vena cava collects blood from the posterior part of our body. Likewise, these two vena cavae bring blood to the right atrium. This blood is deoxygenated blood. And here the left atrium receives oxygenated blood from lungs. That is through a vein called pulmonary vein. This vein is called pulmonary vein. Then this oxygenated blood is pumped into the left ventricle and then through the aorta to different parts of the body. The oxygenated blood is utilized by different tissues and organs in our body, and blood in return receives waste materials like carbon dioxide and metabolic waste from these tissues and organs. And again, this deoxygenated blood from different parts of the body is brought back into the right atria and again to right ventricle and to lungs for the process of purification. So this is a cyclic process. When circulation starts, let us assume that circulation is starting in the right atrium. When right atrium receives blood from vena cavae, it is in its dilated form or in a diastolic condition. Once it receives blood, it contracts or getting into the systolic form and pushes the blood into the right ventricle. When right ventricle receives blood, again right ventricle getting into its systolic form. It contracts and getting into its systolic form and pushes the blood into the lungs through pulmonary artery. Here in the junction of the right atrium and right ventricle, you can see a tricuspid valve. Tricuspid. Why it is called a tricuspid valve? Because this valve has three cusps or three flaps. These flaps are attached to the wall of the heart. Likewise, in the junction of left atrium and left ventricle, there is another valve called bicuspid valve. This valve has only two cups. Then we can see another types of valve, one at the junction of pulmonary artery and one at the junction of aorta. These valves are called semilunar valves. Semilunar valves. Lunar means moon, half moon shaped, semilunar. Half moon shaped valves, they are located one at the junction of the pulmonary artery and one at the junction of the aorta. As soon as the blood enters into the right atrium, this tricuspid valve gets closed and prevents the backflow of blood from right ventricle to right atrium. Likewise, even here the bicuspid valve gets closed after pumping the blood into the left ventricle. The valves, all these valves help to prevent the backflow of blood. When these valves are getting closed, we get two heart sounds, which are the lup sound and dup sound. In a heartbeat, there is one lup sound and one dup sound. Our heart beats 72 times per minute. Then this lup sound occurs when this tricuspid valve and bicuspid valve close simultaneously. So lup sound is due to the closure of tricuspid and bicuspid valve. And this dup sound occurs due to the closure of the semilunar valves. Where they are located? One at the junction of the pulmonary artery and one at the junction of the aorta. Dub sound is due to the closure of semilunar valve. Next is double circulation. We have seen that the deoxygenated blood is getting drained into the right atrium and oxygenated blood is getting drained into the left atrium. This is the schematic representation of double circulation. Why human circulation is called double circulation? Let us have a look. Here, this part represents the heart, then lungs, and here the organ system or different organs of our body. Once the right atrium receives deoxygenated blood from different parts of the body, the blood is transported to lungs for the process of purification. Then from the lungs, that is the purified blood, is transported to left atrium and again into left ventricle. So here the circulation is between the lungs and the heart. So this circulation is called pulmonary circulation. After that, here from oxygenated blood from left ventricle is pumped into different parts of the body or organ system of our body, and there oxygen is used up by the tissues and this oxygenated blood is converted into deoxygenated blood, and then the deoxygenated blood is transported into the right atrium. So here the circulation of the blood is between the heart and different organ systems. So this circulation is known as systemic circulation. So we can call blood circulation in human as a double circulation because that includes pulmonary circulation and systemic circulation. Here we get to see that blood flows into the heart 2 times in a cycle, that is from lungs to the heart and again from the different parts of the body to the heart. So here this is the pulmonary circulation and this part is the systemic circulation, and here you can see the pulmonary artery that takes blood towards the lungs, and you can see the aorta that takes blood to different parts of the body. So this is all about double circulation. The third component in our circulatory system is blood vessels. So there are 3 types of blood vessels in our body. Which are they? Arteries, veins and capillaries. See, if this is heart, those blood vessels carry blood towards the heart are called veins. Those blood vessels, they carry blood away from the heart. They are called arteries. Usually arteries carry oxygenated blood, but there is one exception. What is that? Pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery carries deoxygenated blood to the lungs for the process of purification, and almost all the veins carry deoxygenated blood. There is also one exception. What is that? Pulmonary vein. This pulmonary vein is the only vein carries oxygenated blood from lungs. And then capillaries are the smallest blood vessels they carry both oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. Then when we talk about these arteries and veins, let us see the structure of these arteries and veins, how this structure varies according to their function. See here, the artery have a thicker wall. This is the wall of the artery. If we take a section, this is the wall of the artery and this is the lumen of the artery. Lumen is the inner canal of the artery, and here the vein got thin wall and broader lumen. Lumen is broader when compared to the lumen of artery, but the wall is thin. Wall is thinner in vein than the artery. The second point is that the veins, they have valves, but in the arteries they do not have valves. Why? Usually in artery, blood flows from the heart with great pressure. This pressure maintains a unidirectional flow of blood and there is less chance for backflow. So there is no need of a valve. But in the case of veins, the veins receive blood from different parts of the body. In the vein, blood flows in less pressure so that there is a chance of backflow. In order to prevent this backflow, veins, they need valves, so that they have valves to prevent the backflow of blood. So what are the difference between veins and arteries? Arteries, they have thicker wall and narrow lumen, and veins, they have thinner walls and broader lumen. And here in artery, they do not have valves, but the veins, they have valves. Next is capillary. Capillaries are nothing but small branches of an artery. Artery carries blood from the heart to different parts of the body. Here, this artery branches into many, this is artery, branches into many arterioles. You can see many arterioles, and each arteriole again branches into many capillaries. These smaller capillaries bring oxygenated blood into the surrounding tissues. These tissues absorb oxygen in the oxygenated blood, and as a result blood converts into deoxygenated one, and from here many small capillaries join together to form a venule. Many such venules join together to form a vein. These veins carry blood towards the right atrium through superior and inferior vena cava. Look here. So, an artery branch into many arteriole. Each arteriole branch into many capillaries, and small capillaries join together to form a venule. Many venules join together to form a vein. So here in venule and vein we can see which type of blood? Deoxygenated blood. But here in artery, arteriole and capillaries, we can see oxygenated blood. Now let us see what is blood pressure. The force blood exerts against the wall of the blood vessel is called blood pressure. The blood pressure is much higher in the arteries than in the veins. Blood pressure can be measured with the help of an instrument called sphygmomanometer. While measuring the blood pressure, we get two readings. Usually for a normal person, it is 120/80 mm of mercury. Let us see what are these two readings. One is the systolic pressure and the other is the diastolic pressure. The pressure in the artery during the ventricular contraction or ventricular systole is called systolic pressure. The pressure in the artery during the relaxation of ventricle or ventricular diastole is called diastolic pressure. So here 120 is the systolic pressure and 80 mm of mercury is the diastolic pressure. Next is lymphatic system. This lymphatic system is also included in our circulatory system. Lymphatic system consists of lymph nodes and lymph vessels. Lymph is a fluid content in the lymphatic system. It is a fluid like blood, but it is colorless. Why? Because it lacks red blood cells. Lymph has WBCs or lymphocytes. These lymphocytes provide immunity to our body. They are involved in the allergic reaction in our body when any foreign particle enters into our system. When the foreign body produces an antigen in our system, these lymphocytes produce antibodies against this antigen. And these antibodies neutralize the action of antigen in our system. The next component is lymph nodes. Lymph nodes are the location where these lymphocytes are produced in huge quantities. We can see more number of lymph nodes in the region of neck, head, armpit and groin. From these lymph nodes, lymph vessels arise and these lymph vessels carry lymph to different parts of the body. If we get any infection, the lymph nodes in that region get swollen. Why? Due to the production of lymphocytes in huge amount to fight against the disease. So, from the lymph nodes, lymph vessels arise and they carry lymph to different parts of the body. This is all about human circulatory system. Hope it is clear for everyone. Bye till we meet with the next video.